Team, welcome to Selenium live training day 6. So far, Karthik has covered an orientation session followed by day 1, day 2 and then followed by, couple of sessions on Selenium IDE. So I'm going to do day 6 and day 7, quickly recapping almost everything that you guys have done it on the IDE today. And then tomorrow we'll go to Webdriver and then we'll look at different locator identification strategies, how an object can be identified in WebDriver. There are about 8 different ways we can identify an object, so we'll be covering that in tomorrow's session. So I'll go from a very beginning, like how you guys have started with IDE and how you might have installed it, even for that matter, and we'll do some quick scripting on that recording, and then as well as we will do manually. Some of you have questions like some of you have questions on how to create a test suite and all that, so I'll be kind of covering that today. It's most of a summary session of entire Selenium IDE what Karthik has covered so far. So even if you have missed out previous sessions, no worries, you'll be able to catch it up when we go through. Okay, so it's like you can think of as a fresh. Even if you have not attended any of the previous sessions, that's fine. I mean, just attend today and tomorrow. You'll get to know what exactly the Selenium IDE part and how to start with WebDriver. So typically to work with Selenium, the main site that we'll all will be depending on is the seleniumhq.org. So this is the main website for any information that you wanted to get about the Selenium. This is the main site. Even if you wanted to install IDE, Selenium IDE part of it, this is where you will be actually doing it. So let's go to seleniumhq.org. I know why it's always referring to that. So let's go to download part of it. And if you little scroll down, so you would see a different, downloads that are available for you, right from certain IDE plugins, and then you have the Selenium server, client and WebDriver, etc., etc. In the main page itself, you would have the IDE part. So this is where you have the Selenium IDE. Just scroll down. Uh, okay, so the first thing that in order to install the IDE is that it's basically a Firefox add-in. So all you need to have is you need to have the Firefox browser installed on your machine. So if you do not have Firefox browser not already installed, that is the very first thing that you have to do. Install the Firefox browser and then come to this particular site and install the Selenium IDE. Once you install the Selenium IDE, typically what happens is it will show up here as an icon. This is where exactly what you see is a Selenium IDE. And if you click on the Selenium IDE, this is how the tool gets open. The another thing that you would need to work with throughout Selenium for identifying the controls, especially with respect to the Firefox browser, until we go into WebDriver with the other browsers, you can always start working with only Firefox browser, because all the way Selenium is started as an extension of Firefox. Basically, the IDE is an extension of the Firefox browser, so you can install only Firefox browser and start working with that. But when we go to WebDriver, Karthik or me, we will be definitely discussing on how we work with IE, how we work with Google Chrome, etc. So one another thing that we need to identify any controls is something called Firebug. So again, you can just go to from the Firefox browser itself. You can search in the Google saying, Firebug. It's basically a plugin for your Firefox driver. So just say Firebug, download, and then it will give you the corresponding add-on for your Firefox browser. Once you do this, this is how exactly the icon looks like for the Firebug. So what is the purpose of this? It is going to help us to inspect any of the elements. For example, in this particular site, if I wanted to do any automation, all I have to do is click on this inspect element. For example, I wanted to understand this search box. Just go click on this search box. It will give you the various properties that search box consists, typically in the HTML format. So your web page is an HTML, right? So typically if you just right click on this web page and you see view source, you would have the HTML source code behind it. So what it is trying to do is it is trying to tell you that it is an HTML tag is an input box and it has an ID property, it has a type attribute, it has a size attribute and an access key attribute and name attribute, etc. Like that, Firebug will help you to go click on any link or any image. So right now it shows an HTML tag A indicates that it's a link, and these are the different other properties that it has. So if you have installed these two, Selenium ID, first is Firefox browser installation, then your Selenium IDE installation, then Firebug installation. If these three installations, if you can do, searching it on the Google, you're good to go with a complete Selenium IDE part of it. When we go into Selenium WebDriver and other stuff, there are a lot more things that we will be keep on installing as and when needed. Various jar files like JUnit, TestNG jar files. There are a lot of jar files that are required for your WebDriver, etc., that will be working on it. So having said that, so let's open the Selenium IDE and try to do some basic things over there. So what I will do is it automatically starts recording. So you can actually, as soon as you open Selenium IDE, by default it will be in recording mode, and you can see that it is now recording. So you can click on stop recording. If you don't like that, it is a simple way to turn off. Just go to options, and there is a simple checkbox here, start recording immediately on open. Unselect that, then it won't start recording automatically. But if you want the default behavior, by default behavior, this will be selected and it will be automatically in recording mode when you launch your Selenium IDE. So let's start from the fresh, let's create a new test case, or as somebody has a question like, how to create a new test suite itself. So you can go ahead and create a new test suite. What is the difference between a test case and a test suite is nothing but test suite is a collection of test cases. When you create multiple test cases for your application, you can put all of them bundled together into the test suite, or test set is a different terminology that we use it. So here it is called the test suite. You can right click on it and you can go to properties to give a proper name. If you want to give any name, let's say I want to give it as something called Selenium HQ test suite, something like that. So all that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a couple of test cases on this website only. So I have given the name as Selenium HQ test suite. But if you are going to work on your own application, it could be any of your business domain application. Just give that application name and the corresponding test suite. So this is how you create a test suite. Just go to file and the new test suite. You give by default untitled test suite will come. Right click on it, properties, and give a title. It will be test suite will be created. Now right click on that to add a new test case. If you want to add a new test case to that, just click on the test suite and click on new test case. So now you can see a new test case with an untitled has come. So if you wanted to again change its name, maybe I wanted to search something on this. So this is a search test case. For example, I'm going to search something in this particular website, Selenium HQ website. So do that. I just created a test suite, created a test case name, but there is nothing in it. Right now, it's everything is empty. And I'm sure you might have understood, people who have attended the sessions. So typically your Selenium IDE will have three important things here. What command or operation you're going to perform. Target is nothing but on which object or locator you're going to perform. And third one is what value that you're going to enter. value may or may not be required for every step. For example, if I have to click on a link, all I would need is a command called click, and the link name, or the link text of that link is sufficient. I don't need to give any value here. But if I'm going to do an operation on a text box, let's say like in a search text box, definitely I would have a method to enter the value, something called send keys. Then I would have the object name on which I'm going to perform the operation, and then what value I'm going to search. So that will be there. All the three columns will be used in case of a text box. Depending on the type of the object that you're going to work, all three columns may be used, or only few, two columns may be used. That depends on what type of object that you're working on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a simple recording now. So click on this record button. By default, when you launch it, it will be automatically in recording mode. So you can straight away start doing your stuff, but otherwise click on record button. So right now it is in recording mode. Anything that I try to perform on the website, it is going to be recorded. So I'll go to Firefox browser. Then I would simply say seleniumhq.org. This website is open now. You can actually just see we did one step, right? So did it something happen? Obviously it will come in the next. So let's go and enter something here. I will just enter Selenium here, and after entering, did it happen anything? Just check it. Now you can see there are two steps have been already recorded. The first step shows open. Open is basically to launch any browser, typically the Firefox browser, because it's after all it's a Firefox add-on IDE, right? So it is to open your Firefox browser. But what is this slash indicates is that whatever the URL that is provided here, can you see something called base URL? Whatever is provided in the base URL, that is a URL you should launch. That is what this command indicates. So typically the first line putting all together is to launch this docs.seleniumhq.org website. The second command says type command. Type command is typically to enter a value onto any text box. And the object that we are working on is identified with something called ID equal to Q. In a couple of minutes, I'll be talking about what are the different ways that you can identify a locator in Selenium IDE. And the actual value that I have entered is something called Selenium here, right? So this is what exactly I performed until now. The next thing that I'm going to perform is to click on this go button. So I'll click on the go button and now see whether that is being recorded or not. And you can see it is performed. It is using a command called click and wait. It is not just using the command click, rather it is using something called click and wait. So there are two types of commands in your Selenium IDE, click and wait. The click command, it will just click and it is not going to wait for your next page to load, or rather it is not going to wait. There is a time given here. Again, if you go to options, there is an amount of time here that is provided. 30,000 milliseconds is nothing but 30 seconds. So typically what's going to happen is during the execution of the script, after entering this Selenium value into the search box, and after click on this submit button or go button, your IDE will automatically wait for 30 seconds until your page loads basically. So if there is a problem in loading of the page, your IDE can wait up to 30 seconds. See, this is a very common problem that we encounter in automation. Is called synchronization. A lot of times what happens is that your script will go line by line, without, if you don't have this kind of commands. Let's say there is no command called click and wait, you just have only click command. So what can happen is that it will just click on that go button and then immediately go to the next line. And in the next line, suppose you are doing something on this page. Okay, suppose the next thing is to click on this link. I click on this link. So but your application is actually a little slow. It's taking time to load the page, but Selenium does not know all that, right? So uh, exactly what is script? Script is, okay, we have actually still not seen any script so far. Okay, typically an IDE script looks like this. When you go into, not IDE, when you go into WebDriver, some WebDriver scripts looks like this. I'm not taking that right now. But to answer your question that Yogesh is asking, exactly what is script is asking. Script is some kind of a program or an instruction that you are giving it to the automation tool to perform some steps. That's exactly what is called script. It's a set of instructions that you are giving it to the automation tool to perform certain steps on your application, AUT, application under test. Depending on different tools will use the scripting differently. For example, if you go to UFT, it will use something called VB scripting. If you come to Selenium, today we are going to see different formats. You can have your script in HTML, you can have your script in Python, you can have it in Java, C Sharp, etc. etc. Okay. Okay, Anwar has a question. What is the latest version of driver you're going to cover? I'll just quickly show after this script is completed, whatever is Selenium HQ provides the latest version, we'll download that version and then we'll try to write a script on top of it. I'll just quickly show you, give me 5 minutes. I'll show you where you can find and what is the latest version that we can pick it up. We should keep checking it every week. There could be enhancements available. So we should always get the latest version. It could be 2.47, it could be 2.48, whatever is available. Okay. So what I did is I launched this site, entered some value, then I clicked on this button, then I also clicked on another link that came up, so which I have landed here. And I'm going to click on this about link. I just clicked on this about link. Then I'm going to click on this news or blog, just clicking on different links and let's see what will happen. And finally, I landed into this particular page and I wanted to do some small verification here. Okay. Yogesh has another question. What is exact use of Selenium IDE? Only test web pages or any other things? Before that, Vishal has another question on which language the Selenium script is written. As I told you, Selenium, you can write the script in Java, you can write the script in Python, you can write the script in C Sharp, you can write it in Ruby. There are so many languages in which you can write. Kinnari has a question. Can we have both windows side by side? Okay, I'll do that. Yeah. Before that, Yogesh has a question. What exact use of Selenium IDE? Selenium IDE purpose is only for web application. That too, only for a Firefox browser. Is it clear, Yogesh? That's why we are not going to spend too much time on this. Today, I'll be just quickly recapping everything on IDE, what probably you could have learned. And tomorrow we'll go to WebDriver. So that's why WebDriver is popular and people use WebDriver in real time, not much on IDE at all. The purpose of IDE is only to understand how the controls are getting identified. That's it. Is all the languages similar? Typically, any programming language, if you consider, the syntax is going to be different. But the way you write a conditional statement, the way you write a select statement, the way you write a switch case statement, or the way you write a for loop, typically the logic behind it would be same, the concept behind it would be same, syntax would be different. So if you know one programming language, the other programming language, you can easily learn it. I would say 30-40% of effort you have to put it to learn a new language. Okay, so one important thing that I want to do is after coming into this page, I want to verify whether I'm in the right page or not. So your Selenium IDE, I'm still in the recording mode. So your Selenium IDE, just do a right click. It will give you some options called verify. So you can verify that text link is this, or verify, you want to store that into some variable, you can do that. But all that I wanted to do is I wanted to verify the text, this is coming or not. So just select this option. Now let's go back to the IDE and see what is the script that is generated. Let's stop it recording first. So I stopped it. Now you can see this is the code which is generated. Okay. And if you look at the script, the first step is actually trying to launch the website, and then it is trying to enter the Selenium into the search box. Then it is actually clicking on this button and waiting for a link to come. Then it's clicking on another link. Then we are clicking on about link, and after that there is a news or blog. We are clicking on that, and there is a conference link that came. We clicked on that, and then we are verifying whether we are in the right page or not. Okay, Anuradha has a question. Can you please tell us how to select the right command from the list of commands? No, when you are in the recording mode, just go and right click. You will see these options. Just right click on the control. There is one more very important option called show all available commands in your IDE. This will show all the commands of your Selenium IDE. You can do an assert statement, you can do a verify statement, you can wait for a statement, you can store a link, store link of, store the text of a link into a variable. You can do all that. I mean, you'll learn all by one. So right now, all I did is just recorded one script. Now, what is the best way to confirm this first is, now let's play back this first. Okay, whatever we have recorded, let's try to play back. How you can play back? So there is a execution mode, faster to slow. I'm putting it into medium, so in fact little close towards a slow, and all you have to do is just click on this play, play the particular test case. This is only for the test case to run. If you want to run only one test case, select this. If you want to run this entire suite, then you have to go and select this. So let me just run this particular test case, and let's see, it's going to run all the steps that what we have recorded. And as the step gets through pass, you can see the color is getting into light green color. When it is actually executing, it is into yellow, and when it is completing, it is turning into light green. Now all the steps are completed, indicating that the entire script is completed. And there is an option here, it will show in the log whether the scripts are completed or not, and it will show you the test case is passed, and it is showing you each step by step what it has done. All right, so this is how you can record and play back a test. If at all you wanted to observe this script to run step by step, you can do that also. Just double click on the line, only that line will work. Right now if you see, just the page is open, that's all. Let me close this Firebug and all. So what I'm doing is just clicking on one line, and you can see it just performs that particular command only. Next, I will just perform this step. Right now, can you see anything on the text box? There's nothing on the text box, so I'll just execute this line, and now you can see Selenium has come up over here. That means the Selenium has been placed here. Instead of Selenium, for example, if you look at this command, right, it has a type command on which control you are performing and what you're doing. Instead of Selenium, suppose you do something else. Let's say you type just type my name. Just go double click on it, and you would see it's coming over there. Okay, Anuradha has a question. Sometimes 30 seconds is not enough to load test. Do we change the time? Yes, we can go ahead and change the time. Depending on type of the application that you're working, it may be vary, so you can go and change. So now you can see the value which is coming is whatever you have typed on the IDE part of it. So let me put this back to Selenium because rest of the commands will fail, right? If I go search for a Shankar, then I will not find the rest of the commands. Okay, so I again, Selenium has come back here. Then double click on the next line. The next line is going to work. There are two ways. Either you double click, or you can say right click, and there is a command called execute this command. Either of the way is fine. So you can either double click, or you can right click and say execute this command. Right, so this is also completed. It clicked on the about link. The next is to run this, so double click on it. That's also fine. Double click on it, and this is also fine. So at the last, we have one command, verified text. Okay, somebody is asking a question. What do you mean by verified text? So this is very important thing which we are going to do as part of the actual testing, right? For example, what are the typical test cases that you would have? Let's say you you have a test case where you log in into an application. After logging into the application, whether I have logged into the right page or not, how do you verify? So you will verify it with a page title, or you will have some kind of a text here. So those kind of things are the validations you would do it on the application as part of your testing. And those things you can use the command called verify text. So it will simply verify whether the text is correct or not. I'll do one simple thing to make this. So right now, if I double click, it's working, and you can see that its particular thing is passed. Let me do one small change. I cannot change it on the application, so let me change this value. The value that I'm putting is official Selenium blog. I'll just put something called 2015, something in the last. Yeah, I will explain, Yogesh, what is the difference between asset and verify. I'll verify. I'll just explain. Give it a few minutes. Wish, if you're not seeing anything, something could be wrong from your side. Sign out and sign in would help from the meeting. Just log out and log in. That should be clear. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm changing this expected value in the IDE part of the expected value. Previously, it was official Selenium blog, and I'm just adding something called 2015. Is it the same value that you have it on the website also, or is it different? Is a value on the web page and value that I'm expecting on the Selenium ID is same or different? So they are different, right? So 2015 is something that I'm expecting, but which is not there on the website. So when I execute this line, when I double click on this line, now you can see it has come in red color, indicating that that particular command is failed. And if you go to the result log file, it says your verify command is failed because this is what it is expecting. Official Selenium blog 2015 is what it is expecting, but actually your application has only official blog Selenium. So the moment again you will change the value back to this and try to play back, still it is failing. The reason because I have a space, and now just double click on it. Now you can see it's pass. So that's a verify text command. Verify text command is to check or verify the required text is present on your it will go verify your entire web page. Actually, it will verify entire web page. Anywhere is there a text with this particular text is present or not. Okay, Rupal has a question. We did not seek to verify text for the link. How did it IDE do that? No, I did it. What I did it is I right clicked on this and then I selected this command called verify text. That's how it came. Is that clear, Rupal? Okay, so I did that. Otherwise, how will it come? Okay. So any questions on this regarding how to create a test suite, how to create a test case, how to record, how to play back, how to play back a line by line, how to play back entire test case. If you want to add a new line or if you want to add some comment, all that you have to do is right click and say insert new comment. Then it will come here. Then you can have your comment something like this test is to work with Selenium HQ website. You can have some comment if you want, and you can see the way it comes. Yogesh has a question. Is there no no not Yogesh. Vats has a question. Is there anything use of Selenium ID excluding testing web pages? Let me tell you another myth. Entire Selenium itself is majorly for web applications. Recently, there were some enhancements to work with Windows Forms, etc. But entire Selenium itself is for web. not just IDE. And what is other limitation of IDE? IDE is for only Firefox browser. If your project required to be tested on Google Chrome or IE, then you cannot work with IDE. Sorry, you cannot work. Yeah, you cannot work with IDE. As I said, I will be explaining the difference between verify command and assert command. Just give me a few minutes. Okay, in first line, why target shows slash. Okay. Uh, so guys, just, I mean, if you're not there when I was explaining, that's fine, but I already explained. So what it is going to do is this slash will open this base URL. That is the purpose of it. There are two ways. Okay, if you don't want to open it from here, then just give that URL here. This is another way to do that. Okay. Okay, let me run this entire suite one more time and then we'll talk about a couple of new things. So either you give that slash and you give the base URL there, or you can directly give the URL in the command. Either of them is fine. Okay. Even after this, let's have some more line. So I want to add one more line. So let's put it over here. And then let's click on the record button. I'm already in recording mode. Let me click on this conference link. Okay. So I have recorded one more line after whatever we just had until now, right? So it's also clicked on the conference link. Now let's try to understand the difference between verify and assert, as somebody was asking, and even I wanted to cover it. So this is trying to do the verify text. Let's do one thing. For example, let's keep it like this, and let's make this fail. Okay, I'm changing the title of it. I'm changing the title again to official Selenium Black 2015. Let's run this whole thing and see what happens. Just observe. If you see, what has happened is, even though right now it shows that the test case is failed. Okay, can you clearly see there is a failure one? And what is the reason for the failure of this test case? You can go into the log and you can see the information. You would see that actual value is official Selenium blog did not match with expected value of official Selenium blog 2015. That means this line is actually failed. Even though, can you see now when I put it in the next color, next line, actually you can see that red color, it's failed. Even though it is failed, it went to the next line. It went to the next line and it's completed. That is what verify command will do. Let's see what will happen, the same thing if an assert command will put it. Okay, for that let's add something called assert. It should be assert title actually, and it should be small s. Can you see something called assert text? It will be below because it's T. Actually, you can actually type it also. I'm just trying to show what are all things can happen. So the same verify text command I have replaced with assert text command now. Okay, let's run the entire thing now. Can you see what happened now? Did it went to the last line? Did it gone to the last line? No. As soon as your assert command failed, it stopped there. It paused your execution or stopped your execution. So that is the difference between your verify and assert command. Even if a command fails with verify, the text will still continue. but if a command fails with an assert, it will stop there. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll add one more test. In fact, we'll write it manually and then we'll do it. Maithili has a question. Could you please run the test case after closing the browser, leaving only ID tab, and just wanted to check? Okay, fine. Let's do that. But ideally, you need to have a Firefox browser open, right? So where do you think it will execute? This is how you will get. You should have Firefox browser open. Is it clear, Maithili? So you should have your Firefox browser open. Yes. Then only it will. Now, if I do it, it will work. Oh, it's actually waiting for. Now it has to. Is it running? No, stop it. Okay, let's do it now. Now it will work. The reason because we have the browser and we have everything to start. Okay, I will add one more test case where we try to write manually. Okay, we'll try to write the script manually. No, it's only for your convenience, Yogesh. Like, how can I put it? So, the way you want to do the faster execution, medium execution, slow execution. If you wanted to observe certain things, what's happening, then you can have slow execution. Okay, let's add. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll fix this back first. Whatever this official 2000 we have, not here, here. This is the line. So when I change this, even the assert command should pass and it should continue without any problem. Sheetal has a question. Close IT again and can you please show how to open a save test suite? It is like opening any other file. I don't see any difference majorly. Did you see any difference or what is the difficult that you have seen? Anyway, I'll try to do that. So let's add one more test case here. Okay, let's add one more test case. So right now this is also completed, then everything is, after fixing that back, it should pass. How many times can we run the test case? Any number of times. That is the purpose of automation. You automate once and you can run it any number of times. That's where the automation comes into picture, right, Shruti? Vidya has a question. Will the test case pass without using asset or verify command? So if you don't, see, typically if you do not have any verify or asset command, you're not actually validating anything. You're actually just running through it. You're not really validating it. Typically, what is the testing? Testing will do some validations, right? Okay, let me create one more new test case under the same suite. Let me give it as again uh, Chandra has a question. In the real, when we don't do projects using Firefox, we cannot use IDE. So do we proceed with the project? IDE is, frankly speaking, it's only to warm you up into Selenium and try to understand how the locator commands are working, how this target field is getting identified. ID is not going to be really much used in real time for you. What we are going to discuss in Webdriver is the main thing that you're going to use it in real time. Okay, I'll just quickly add one more search test 2 or something. Okay, can you guys help me how to do the scripting manually? So the first thing what you wanted to do is you want to open to this website, right? So all we have to do is the scripting in the IDE goes like this. So I'm not recording right now. If you have observed, there was a command that it was used is a open command, right? And is this a website that you want to open? If that is a website that you want to open, then target should be just a slash, or you can give a URL, right? So with that, what happens? Double click and see whether it is working or not. Yes, it is working and it's opening the website. The next thing what you wanted to do, suppose you wanted to work with this search box, we should, all we should know is click on the Firebug. Now, first of all, we should know how to identify that. Click on the Firebug. There is something called inspect element. Click on this inspect element and click on the text box. It will tell you what are the IDs. ID equal to Q, type equal to text, size is equal to that. So there are different things. So you can either go with ID or you can go with name. So there are different ways to identify your Selenium ID can identify. It can identify with an ID. Oh, sorry, not here. There are different ways it can identify. Yeah, it can identify with an ID. It can identify. Oh, no, this is all about XPath. I'm sorry. Yeah, so you can use ID where ID equal to ID value you can say, or you can say name equal to name value. So there are many ways you can do that. So I can do like next line. As you all know, you wanted to type a value. So type, what is it? ID equal to some. You can always go back and refer your previous test case if you have any questions. The way it is referring ID equal to the ID value. So ID equal to the value, whatever the value that you have seen there on the text box. Uh, it is ID equal to Q or name equal to. Let's do one thing. Let's try it differently. Let's go with name equal to Q rather than ID, because ID we have already recorded. So name equal to Q. So this is what, and what you want to type there. I wanted to type something again, something called Selenium, right? So just go ahead and do it. Now double click on this line and see whether it's working or not. And you can see it's typing the value here, right? And can you also explain me how we can go with the third line? I want to click on this OK button. So can you tell me what I should do now first? What all I need to know? What all I need to do? First of all, I need to know how that Go button is getting identified, right? Okay. Click is a command. You're all saying correct. So you want to go click or click and wait. Can you tell me? Click or click and wait. Which one you prefer? Click and wait you should use, not just the click. Okay. Click and wait. Which control? That we have to see with the Firebug, right? So we already have Firebug open. Go click on this Go button, and this Go button has ID and it has value type. So we can use ID equal to submit. So it's ID equal to submit. That's all. So we don't enter any value. So double click on it and see whether it will work or not. And you can see it's working, right? Now, and then what I want to do is I want to verify this title is same or not. So all you can do is Aparna, as I just covered some time back, click and difference between click, click and wait. Click will simply click. It does not wait for your page to load, or it does not wait for the 30 seconds in case, suppose if your application is very slow, it's loading the page very, very, very slow, then you should always recommend it to go for click and wait. And that click and wait will wait up to this amount of time, which is there here, 30,000 milliseconds. All right. Okay, we want to verify the text, right? So uh, click on this radio button, right click here. There are different things. Go to show all available commands. And what do you want to verify? I want to verify its title. So if you go to assert title, whether I'm in the title Google custom search or not, where you can see the title, this is the title. What you can see here, Google custom search. If you want to verify the title, just go click on that. And now you can see whether the IDE has come up with that command or not. So now you can, okay, it has come little above, it has come in the wrong place, right? So just bring it down, drag and drop in the right place. Okay, why A and W is capital in click and wait? So that's the coding standards basically, right? So coding standards. So how they are naming it is, these commands, how they have named it is, first is to perform the operation. All that operations, they are putting it in small case. For example, type, open, click, assert, they're all operations. So that's why they are in small case. That's a format that IDE uses. Then you can see assert a title. What you're verifying, assert title or assert text, assert page, that comes in capital. Jitendra, I've just explained a few minutes back what is the difference between assert and verify. So depending on the need, we can go for it. I want to make my script to fail as soon as there is a difference, so I'm using assert. If you want to continue, you should go for verify, right? So I just explained the difference, right? Depending on what we need, we can go for it. So this is a very simple thing. All I'm doing is launching this, entering the value here, clicking on the go button and verifying the page is coming correctly or not. So let's run this test individually first to check whether it is working or not. So now both my test cases are working. So if you want to quickly check the entire suite, select this and click on the entire suite. So first it will run the first test case and then it will run the second test case. So Yogesh has a question. Can I do ISTQB certification before join any company? Is there any benefit of ISTQB? Definitely, Yogesh. For example, if two people are coming for an interview, both of them are equally good. One is certified, one is not certified. People would definitely prefer the certified one. It's up to you. And there are some. It's definitely adds value to your profile. Okay. So now you can see this entire suite is being executed, right? So let me save this test suite. We have already saved the test suite once. I'll save it somewhere in D drive. I'll put it as under Selenium. I'll put it as ID scripts or something, and under that I'll say test suite 1. Because somebody has a question how to open, how to create and all that. So I'm just saving it right now. So the first thing what you should do is you should save it first. Okay. That's what I did. All you have to do is file, save your test suite and with some name. Okay. The next thing when you, let's close everything. Okay. Let's close this. We have already saved it. I don't know why it's asking. Oh, we should save it as an HTML file. Sorry. Okay, let's. If you go to that file location, D drive, Selenium, IDE scripts, you would see this test suite 1 and it will be saved as an HTML document typically. And just see what happens if you open that HTML document and how does it contain. So your typical scripts will be saved like this, called a test suite. Under that, two test cases, search test case, search test 2. Let's open one of them, search test case, click on the search test case. Okay, because the best way you can verify is, I closed it, right? So let's open that, open that suite. Okay, this is the reason might be somebody was asking that they were facing a problem. Can you confirm, is that right, whoever is asked? So ideally it should, come back. So let's do one more thing. Let's quickly, what I wanted to do is it's recording now. I want to show you the HTML format in which the script will be generated. I'll just do 2-3 lines and then stop it here. I'll say save the test case as test one. Now this test one is saved as HTML. Open the test one. I want to show you the way the script gets saved actually. So your HTML script, it will save your script in this format. And this particular script is called, whatever the script it is generating in Selenium IDE is called Selenium script. Selenese, Selenium script. It's called Selenese. So this script is called Selenium script, and typically if you open an HTML format, it will be like this. If you see in the IDE, it will be like this. Okay. So yeah, test suite save has a problem in this IDE version. At least in the previous versions, I did not have a problem, so I was not expecting this. This version of IDE 2.9.0 looks like has a problem in saving the test suite, so that's fine. So, but when you individually create the test case, this is how they will create. Okay, so go with this for today. Tomorrow I will cover little more examples, and then I'll talk about different options that we have here. What are the different formatting options, and what are the different options that we have here, some of them, and what are the other things that we have it in the IDE, basically exporting your scripts, and what kind of actions, yeah, toggle breaker, and somebody was asking how to do that. So we'll cover up those things, and that will set the base to switch to WebDriver. If possible, we'll go to WebDriver also and then do some basic scripting there. All right, so with this, let's pause it here. QA manual testing is already going on, Jitendra. I just started, so see if you, there are 8 sessions completed, by the way. So again, it will take some more time. Right now, 9th session is going on tomorrow morning. Yeah, tomorrow we'll talk about locator identification framework for sure. All right, great. So have a good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're from. Cool, yeah.